Part 8. The SJB 2004 Revocable Trust and the Credit Lines. How much money does the SJB Trust have? We have already seen in Part 2 of the Love Shack Trust series what residences Britney had during the conservatorship. In this video, we want to walk you through the liabilities the estate has had during this time. At the end of 2013, Britney had a liability of $4 million corresponding to the Stafford mortgage taken in 2012. The 2014 accounting is sealed, but we do know that James and Wallet asked the court to approve an urgent loan of $6 million. On March 11, James and Wallet filed an ex parte petition to establish secured credit lines and also to modify the strategy of the investments of the conservatorship and the SJB Trust funds held with Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch. This petition reveals quite a few interesting facts. Let's go through them one by one. Fact 1. Purpose of the credit lines. In 2013, the conservatorship reported Britney's lowest net income of a little over $3.5 million. The total reported conservatorship assets was $36 million in cash and non-cash assets. Keep this in mind, it will become very important in a bit. James and Wallet claimed the conservatorship was low on liquidity. Therefore, instead of liquidating investments, they claimed the better move was to open two security-based lines of credit with Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch to avoid triggering capital gains taxes. In short, for whatever reason, we'll get back to this, they needed cash, and since January 2014, they had concocted this plan to get two loans against part of Britney's conservatorship investment portfolio. This consisted of a credit line of $1.5 million with Morgan Stanley and a $5 million one with Merrill Lynch. It was not to buy a house, because they didn't buy Britney's current residence until the end of 2015, so it doesn't make sense why these loans were so urgent in March 2014. This is also the year when Britney had a very lucrative Las Vegas residency, aside from all other lucrative businesses like the perfume line, but they still claimed they needed money for business-related, short-term cash investments, and transient cash needs. Fact 2. Collateral. A security-based line of credit allows you to borrow money against the value of your investment portfolio. In simple terms, instead of liquidating your investments, the bank gives you cash if you put the investments as collateral. Similar to how you would get a mortgage by putting your house as collateral, but instead of the house being the collateral, in this case, it was the investment portfolio. This might sound like a good option, but it is only worth it for short-term loans. For example, if you want to buy a house before selling your current one, and you'll repay the loan once you sell it. The risk with asset-backed loans is that the value of the pledged assets might decrease in value and the bank may ask for more collateral or even demand immediate repayment. Also, if you don't repay the loan in full in a short period of time, it may become very expensive due to high interest rates, which would defeat the very purpose of this type of loan. Now, what's interesting here is that Wallet had to give financial information referring to the estate. In the documents, it is referred to as the trust, but it is referring to the conservatorship of the estate. He claimed that the income of the estate in 2013 was $20 million, and that the projected 2014 income will be also $20 million. But more importantly, he stated that the value of the liquid assets, so not including real estate and other non-cash assets, was $200 million, while the net worth, assets minus liabilities, was $210 million. This while the accountings show that cash and non-cash assets totaled a little over $36 million, and by 2016 was $51 million. Nowhere near $200 million liquid or $210 million net worth. Fact 3. Repayment. James and Wallet claimed they will draw down, repay, and redraw loans, but in fact, they took out the maximum amount approved. They also said the loans will promptly be repaid, which again, they definitely didn't do. This left the estate with a liability of more than $10 million at the end of 2015. The Stafford mortgage, Morgan Stanley loan 8895, and a Merrill Lynch loan. Note that the Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch loans, although seemingly linked to the 2015 purchase of Britney's current residence, are not property secured. In 2016, liabilities stayed more or less the same, but in 2017, buckle up for this, As we mentioned, the Stafford mortgage was paid off. The Morgan Stanley loan 8895 of $1.3 million was transferred to the same entity, just a different loan. This is the Morgan Stanley loan 4920. This $1.3 million loan was paid partially with a new loan they got from Bank of America of $1 million. The remaining liability of about $300,000 was paid off in 2018. As of 2019, the last accounting available, Britney had a liability of almost $5 million with Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, mostly because the estate barely paid any principal for these loans. This can hardly be called a repayment, let alone a prompt one. They got $6.5 million in 2014, and as of 2019, the liability derived from those loans was $4.7 million.